Good evening. This is K.S.Murthy, senior journalist, and I am representing Eco Sure, an events and media company. Now we are with Sri Surender Pal Singh, the chairman of Premier Solar Limited, which is one of the pioneer in rural electrification as well as a full-fledged solar company having a track record of most successful. And it is our fortunate thing to meet him. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
And we would like to know, sir, your saga. For the past 2 decades you are in the industry. What do you feel? What is your experiences and what is your view about present scenario, sir?
We set up a solar unit way back in 1995 when solar was not very popular and there were a lot of obstructions. There was hardly any demand. We were one of the very few private players other than probably Tata and RES in the country, and others were BHEL, CL, which were government undertaking. So we had our share of teething problems in the couple of initial years. We started with integration of solar lantern, solar home light, solar street light. And in 2000, we set up a first module manufacturing unit, which was 15 megawatt capacity. Slowly over the years, we expanded from 15 to 50, 100. And I'm happy to tell you today that we have very recently installed 200 megawatt fully automatic module line, which is probably one of its kind in the country. And today we have a portfolio of 300 megawatt solar module manufacturing unit and 50 megawatt of solar cell manufacturing unit in Hyderabad.
That's excellent. Tell us something about your. You are a pioneer in rural electrification, and particularly, I can say you are the number one in the country. You are even honored in Western countries. Tell us something about it.
REC Government of India had started a project called DDG, Direct Decentralized Distribution Grid, and the tenders were floated, and we won the first tender in Andhra Pradesh for 57 villages to be electrified in agency area of Visakhapatnam. Subsequently, in the current state of Telangana, 37 villages, 72 villages again in EPDCL Andhra region. We have electrified 10 villages in Madhya Pradesh and 13 villages in UP. As on today, we have electrified close to 200 villages all over the country. And presently, we already have an order book of over 117 units to be electrified in next couple of 2 months. These are very remote villages where people had not seen power for the life. First time when a solar power was installed, they came to know what light is, and their lifestyle changed after that. They could work during evening hours when there is dark because solar light provided them light. The children could study late hours instead of using a kerosene lamp, they could get solar power. The terrain for electrifying these villages were very, very difficult terrain. These are on hilltop and they are in very remote areas where you do not have a proper road. Even a two-wheeler cannot go. Bulk of the material like batteries and module had to be carried on head of the people, our workmen, or on the horseback, or even on a cycle. So it was a tough assignment, but we took it up as a challenge and we have done reasonably well. Some of these villages have been maintained by us for over 5 years now. And as you rightly mentioned, for this particular project, we also won an International Project of the Year award instituted by Renewable Energy World, Florida, USA.
You have been invited over there and
Yes, I was invited and this award was presented. In fact, the result was declared at that conference in Florida.
Excellent. And now, can you tell us what is the scenario existing? Do you think the Indian solar industry is flourishing or it is being broken by the Chinese?
Indian solar industry is flourishing. There is no two opinion. In last 2 years, we have added almost 8,500 megawatt. The total capacity installed in country as on 15-16 is about 12,100 megawatt. Demand is increasing. Government support is there. PPA tariff for the power plant is in place. Of late, the rates have been falling for silicon. When the raw material is being reduced, so also the price of cell and the module. The prices have fallen close to 25 rupees a watt today. 1 megawatt of solar plant, which was costing almost 17 crores
Crores.
about 5-6 years back, has come down to just about plus or minus 4 crore today. The tariff being offered on PPA presently is as low as 2 rupees 45 paisa a unit, which is lower than the power generated from coal-based power plants. So that is the future. In fact, now government is also talking that the target rate is 1 rupee 50 paisa per unit in coming months or years. This will be far lower than wind, thermal, nuclear, hydro, and almost all the powers under the sky. There is a competition from China. Most of the power plant developers are importing their panels from China. Nevertheless, there is a demand domestically for local units also. Government in certain cases have come out with what is called a DCR content, that is the domestic content requirement of particular tenders, where the developer is forced to buy Indian cells and Indian module. That demand is picking up. In fact, we have been representing the government to increase this share so that more and more units will be set up for manufacturing cells and modules, and that will be in true sense made in India concept which our Prime Minister has been promoting.
But few industrialists feel that 87% of the solar industry is going in a negative path, or closing, shutting down their shutters because of the Chinese lowest tariff, saying that per watt they are charging as good as 18 rupees, which is unbelievable or unimaginable in Indian market scenario, because they are getting subsidies and rate of interest very low in China. That's happening.
It's wrong to say that 87% of units are closed. Not even maybe 2 or 3% have closed. In fact, units are expanding. As I said, we have expanded from 100 megawatt to 300 megawatt just March 2017. Demand is there. Yes, it is becoming slightly difficult to compete with China. But if you add the freight and if you talk of the quality, Chinese quality and Indian quality is any day better than Chinese quality. So even today we are able to sell at 23, 24, 25 rupees a module in India. In fact, companies like us and many more are also exporting to Europe, Canada and many other African Asian countries, and we are competing with China. We definitely get a better price than China because of quality, delivery and relationships.
In such circumstances, after 5 years, where do you see this solar industry in India as well as our own Telangana states?
See, when the rates are falling, industry is bound to grow. As I said, if we can develop solar power at 1 rupee 50 paisa a unit, you can imagine what is the volume. The capacity or the requirement of India is 750 gigawatt of solar power. We are talking of 2020, only 125 gigawatt. So 5 times the targeted power generation proposed by government of India scope is there. So if we are able to tap 750 gigawatt in next 5-10 years, imagine what is the volume of business available. We have been representing the government that in certain cases where we are getting substandard or poor quality material imported into India from China, certain restrictions should be placed on that, maybe in the form of anti-dumping duty, maybe in the form of giving concession for import of certain raw materials to the local manufacturers. So we are also able to compete with China, stop the import and maybe increase our export to other countries in competition with China.
In other words, you are happy with the present scenario and you see a rapid growth. Individually, I am asking, being a premier is happy and expecting a good rate of growth in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Why only premier? Every company should have good growth. Why not? Why not? There is a demand. You have to increase the volumes. You have to cut down on the cost, and you be competitive. Why should be afraid of China alone?
So what would be your message for the newly coming entrepreneurs who want to enter into solar arena? Because government is saying 300 acres of land is reserved for those who want to manufacture like you, modules or cells or whatever manufacturing is there. We are ready to give land today. Mr. Narasimha Reddy, Executive MD and VC of TSIC was telling me that they are having reserved. Anybody who is interested, they can have their land here, infrastructure will be provided, not only Fab City, anywhere they wish. Government is pro towards solar, he is saying. How do you feel this situation, sir?
See, any government, whether it's Telangana or any other state, they are pro-industry as such, leave alone solar. They would want more industry to come. They would want more industry in MSME sector because MSME sector provides the maximum employment in the country. So definitely government would be keen, and I'm sure many more plants will come up. But to the new entrepreneurs, what you said, I would suggest they should start in a very, very small scale and then grow step by step. Somebody setting up a big power plant, maybe manufacturing of 50, 100 megawatt can land in trouble because a new plant will have more overheads compared to the existing plant. So they can start with 10, 15, 20 megawatt a year capacity and slowly, gradually develop it and they can go to 100 megawatt even more. There is enough scope, there's enough market.
There is nothing to worry about.
Absolutely nothing.
And what do you say about, for example, you are into the solar industry for the past 2 decades. If you are a EPC, you are trustworthy. All of a sudden, on the 7th cloud, somebody saying 25 years we will be giving guarantee, and he is establishing a board saying he is EPC. What is the trustworthiness, and what is your suggestion to rely upon somebody? EPC is making a very crucial role. So how do you suggest to select a EPC?
In any solar project, module is the heart of a solar power project.
Yes,
a module is the one which will generate the power and give you the revenue. So if we do not compromise on the quality of module, when I say quality of module, I refer to the BOM for manufacturing module. We have EVA, we have Tedler, we have interconnect, bus bar, cells. If we are able to provide good quality raw material, the module is bound to loss. That is the international standard. 20 years of warranty is given to buyer for the modules to the buyer. So if we have that warranty from a module manufacturer, the plant is bound to generate for 25 years. In fact, our modules are in the field for about 22 years and they have been performing well even today. And there are companies, 30 years, 40 years, 50-year-old companies whose modules have been performing for 25 years and more. In fact, in many cases, it is 30 years also. So why should we doubt that the power will not give, the plant will not generate enough power in the next 25 years?
The question is about EPC's role, sir. How to take into consideration who is trustworthy? How do we make it out? 25 years he is giving NDA. After NDA is having, and finally if he vanishes into thin air, how to calculate? That is a loss for the industrialist or a new entrepreneur entering into solar arena.
Whenever a developer wants to set up a plant and he goes to an EPC contractor, he should first insist on what is the make of module, what make of inverter you are going to supply, what are the warranties of the module manufacturers, what are the warranties of the inverter. For instance, inverter earlier the guarantee was 5 years, today it is 10 years. Maybe somebody will come forward and give an extended warranty of 15 or 20, 25 years. So the risk of the developer is covered. And when he identifies a module supplier, he should ensure what is the BOM which is going into the module. So he is assured if there is a quality module manufacturer, the BOM in the module is of a high standard, reputed manufacturer. Obviously, the output also will be to that tune.
Fantastic. Actually, this is what I wanted to hear from you.
Okay.
Many my viewers will be enlightened with this. Finally, what do you feel that this solar industry within 5 years, where you see? In Telangana particularly, the generation is already into thousands of megawatts. They are claiming tall claims. After 5 years, where do you see the solar industry is leading to?
Today, Telangana is number 4 in the country,
Yes, sir.
after Andhra, Rajasthan,
Gujarat.
Tamil Nadu, and then Telangana. At the moment, things are a bit slow, even Telangana and many other states. But we see Telangana being in top 1 or 2 in next 5 years' time because the potential is there, demand is there, solar insulation is very good. That means the generation per megawatt will be high. It is close to 1.7, 1.75 million units per megawatt. So there has to be a bright future. There has to be a bright future. Land is not very expensive. Even today, if somebody goes about 40-50 kilometers, can get land for 5 to 10 lakhs per acre, which is quite reasonable for a plant of 5 megawatt capacity.
At least not unimaginable, or it is handy.
Well within the budget, well
Yes.
within the budget, well within the
In
budget.
such circumstances, you are a happy industrialist, can I call you, because of the standards right now existing and prevailing?
Yeah, at the moment we are passing through GST problem. We have represented the government. First there was ambiguity on what will be the rate. At one point they said 5%, 10% renewable energy. Then at some other clause, 84.410, they mentioned 18% on cells, 18% on modules. We also represented as an association from Telangana, CMAT, Solar Energy Equipment Manufacturers Association. We got a reply from our minister also that they are considering. And 3rd June it was clarified that yes, it is going to be 5% on module, 5% on cells. But the import of raw material which gets into a module manufacturing, there is still no clarity, because it says 28% on glass, 18% on EVA, 18% on Tedlar, 18% on aluminum. Whether we will get some concession in the form of notification, as it was there earlier in excise, customs, when we were importing, we were given an exemption, though custom duty was there, but there was a notification exempting the custom duty. So we hope something of that nature will come through in next week, 10 days. I understand there are next 2 or 3 meetings before the end of the month of the GST Council. So some more clarity would come. I don't think the net cost of power to a developer would be more than 5.5% in spite of GST.
GST.
Yeah.
That
We
is
had represented
the
earlier.
you are seeing.
Yeah.
Chalo, to conclude it, there are so many hurdles we crossed. Now, as you said, it used to be 17 crores to come down to
Project cost.
more or less 4 crores. In such scenario, you are also growing. You have given a solid example, these many megawatts. Do you think still we are carrying this imported things on latest cost? If it comes down, the developer will be happy, as you are saying, more or less 5.5%. In such scenario, many more entrepreneurs can come down into this industry, and still there is a scope for them to get flourished, sir.
Yeah, as I said, we are close to 12,000 megawatt.
Yes.
That is about 12 gigawatt. And we are talking of 125 gigawatt by 2020, and the capacity of solar power generation in the country is 750 gigawatt. If we are able to tap the entire solar energy of 750 gigawatt, then ocean has enough business for everybody.
One more aspect I would like to ask you is, sir, the other day when I was discussing with you, you said there is a dearth or very shortage of skilled manpower in this industry. If you are still
Not much,
skilled.
not. It used to be, I would say, in 2000, 2005, because the solar industry as such was not very popular. But now, I think in Telangana alone, we have got almost 30 module manufacturers, and the country, I think we would be having more than 200 module manufacturers. Then MSME, which was earlier known as Small Scale Industrial Service Institute, they have started conducting training. They train people for 3 to 6 months in solar. There are many other organizations who are training the people and giving you skilled power. So I don't think that problem is much now. People
Even
are available. People are available.
MNRE is giving Surya Kiran and Surya Mantri
Yeah, that is
totally
also there.
funded.
Yes, yes.
But majority of the industry people feel that yes, people are coming with certificates, but not the potentiality of skilled people. What your personal perception?
I disagree. If that was so, how can so many companies work and day and night and produce and good quality of modules? So people are available.
They are available.
They are available, and
That's
quality
wonderful.
standards are in place. People are available.
Finally, what would be your message to one who is interested to enter this solar industry as an employee or an entrepreneur or a megawatt developer, IPP, independent power producer?
According to me, the biggest scope is on rooftop.
Yes, sir.
Rooftop for government offices, educational institutions, there is a scheme in place where government also offers them 30% subsidy. For a domestic rooftop, there is no clarity on the subsidy. Even if it is there, it is 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt. Now, a person who's got a bigger house and is paying more than, he's using more than 500 units and at that slab rate he is paying almost close to 10 rupees a unit.
Yes, sir.
So if he sets up a 10 kilowatt rooftop with a subsidy, his payback will be in 2.5 years. Whatever he is invested, he will recover in 2.5 years, and the balance 22 odd and years he will be saving almost 5,000 per month, even for 500 units. So there are thousands and thousands and thousands of houses, independent houses. Flats, I understand it's difficult because it's a common area, so very difficult to place a solar power plant when there are 8, 10, 20, 30, 40 residents there. But independent houses, no risk. For 10 kilowatt, you need just about 1,000 square feet. Independent bungalow definitely is more than 2-3,000 square feet. So they can put up 10 kilowatt very easily. With 10 kilowatt, they can generate about 50 units a day, which is about 1,500 units a month. At the cost of 10 rupees, which they would be paying to the utilities, 15,000 a month. So for their investment, what they make for 10 kilowatt, even if they are making an investment of 5 to 6 lakh, they will recover in 2-3 years. So that is one area where we need entrepreneurs, because not many established manufacturers can go and take up this job, house to house marketing and installing. So if there are entrepreneurs who would undertake this type of job, we can call them system integrators. There's a big scope for them to get into business.
Totally green pasture.
Yes.
That's so nice of
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank
That
you.
is Sri Surender Pal, seeing everything positive in the scenario. There is nothing drastic or going down. The industry is going to flourish in a multifolded dimensions. It is wonderful to speak to you, sir. Thank you.
My
so much.
pleasure, Mr. Murthy.